We are just getting word that President Trump has signed the sanctions bill on Russia. That is the bill overwhelmingly passed by the House of Representatives and also the Senate. We just got word that the president has now signed this sanctions bill. You're with us. Your reaction?
I think it fits very much with what we're talking about. Increasingly, Congress is going to assert itself. In essence, what it did with that sanctions bill was to tie the president's hands in his ability to unilaterally negotiate with Russia. That's a new development that you probably wouldn't have seen 100 or 200 days ago. It's absolutely the case now.
If this president wanted to roll back any of these sanctions, he would have to give Congress 30-day notice under this amendment. Congress could then disapprove and ultimately block the president from rolling back sanctions with a 2/3 vote. Essentially, Judy, what the Senate is saying here is we think Congress should set Russia policy now, not the president.
And in 2 seconds, if the president were to veto this, the assumption is it would be overridden.
That's correct. It passed with 98 votes in the Senate. Absolutely, they would override that veto.
This bill dials up our current sanctions on North Korea, Iran, and Russia to hold their governments accountable for their destabilizing actions.
So, Lisa, tell us what these Russia sanctions are.
These are not just symbolic, Judy. These are significant sanctions. Let's take a quick look. First of all, they target Russian industries, especially the energy sector. Those sanctions would include things limiting U.S. companies, prohibiting them from working with Russian firms, say, exploring the Arctic. That's a big deal. Also, this would target individuals working in defense or intelligence, individual Russians. There's some new powers in here. The Treasury would get access to U.S. bank records of Russian oligarchs. Also, $250 million for a countering Russian influence fund.
We are talking about American sanctions on Russia. However, Europe is waving a red flag about all this. Can you explain why?
Well, Europe is worried that US sanctions could hurt European companies, energy companies that have dealings with Russian entities. And Germany is a key player in this. Just today, a German industrial association said that if it came to these sanctions actually being applied, and if they did end up hurting EU energy companies, then the EU should respond in kind. So basically what this industrial association is talking about is reciprocal sanctions on US companies.
The United States may not like it, but the pipes are stacking up in a remote storage yard on the North German coast. Preparations for a controversial plan to send gas from Russia directly to Germany are well underway.
In October last year, 2 trains started arriving here most days to deliver the German-made steel pipelines for Nord Stream 2. That's despite the fact that the project doesn't actually have the official go-ahead yet. And in fact, it appears to be facing increasingly vocal opposition.
Officially, Nord Stream 2's future remains in the hands of its Russian owners and European investors. The man in the Oval Office may become a powerful ally for those looking to stop them.